Designer space, and then connecting those space with jewelry, with fashion, with kitchenware and all that stuff. So I'm going to make things simple because you come across a lot of the principles, the rules. There are so many stuffs going around, and when you learn all of them, it's nice to learn that you have a theoretical knowledge. It's nice, but then connecting with the practical, it's totally different. There is always a difference between the practical and the theoretical knowledge. I've experienced this personally. After learning all the principles and rules, I've seen that those principles and rules are not exactly that I thought the way it would be applicable in the practical sense, and it took me a long time to understand where to put what, how does it work, okay, this is the rule of the balance, this is the harmony, this is the focal point, this is the statement piece, where should I even start, and then how can I progress, and all that stuff. And to keep things in mind, the first thing I want to say that we are all different and every designer is different. You need to find your own style of designing things, whether you're designing for your clients, for personal use, whatever it is. You need to find your style, and it all boils down to practice. It all boils down to using your creative energy instead of the rules. Of course, the rules are there, you can use the rules, but then it's more about the creative energy, about how you feel when you enter the space, and where you feel like where you want to put what. That's important. And I've seen a lot of the designers having their own way of designing the space of starting, and everybody is different and unique, and they actually revolutionized the laws and the principles, and they design according to that. So today I'm going to share my way, what I personally feel. Let me know if it does resonate. Comment down, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and let's begin. The first thing, I begin with the focal point. That's where I start, whether I'm designing a space or a fashion or a jewelry. What is the focal point? So if you are in a space, in a room, the focal point could be a television, could be a piece of art, could be a chandelier, could be a ceiling light, could be a furniture piece, or a coffee table, whatever. That could be the focal point. It can be anything that you want to be a focal point. It depends on you, what kind of intention you have for the space, whether it's a rustic, coastal, mid-century, bohemian, whatever. It starts from that. I begin with the focal point, and now I have a focal point, and now I can create a harmony around that. Everything in the room, in the space, will going to blend with that. The same I do in the fashion. So for my focal point could be my top, could be my dress, and then I go with all the jewelries according to that. Or could be a focal point, could be my statement rings or statement earrings or a necklace, and then I blend according to that. So I start with the focal point because then it's become easy for me to blend in with that. The second one, once I finish this, the second I move with the harmony, what I can bring in that's going to complement my focal point. So it could be for example, if I choose a piece of art as my focal point, so I can bring a furniture that could complement it, or I can bring a coffee table or a chandelier or a lamp or whatever. So that's the second thing. The third thing I do is having space. Having negative space or having a breathing space is really important, because this is something that I've learned personally in the art, in the designing. Like even in the art, if you are creating a canvas piece, you're not going to use the all space and put colors everywhere. Of course you can do that, the abstract art is there, and I love that, but then you do have some space, the room to breathe, and that could be the space for other parts blending in together if you are focusing on jewelry or fashion, or having a literally like space in between the furniture so that people can move in. That's the third thing to keep in mind, is having a space. The fourth thing to keep in mind is whether you want to go with the minimalism or maximalism. Both of the approaches work. You can start with the minimalism because it's more easy. In the maximalism, you need to find a balance, okay, putting the maximalism, but then not, it's like one pink color, one yellow color, one orange color, one black color, then you will be like so much chaos. You don't need to create chaos with the maximalism. So you need to find that balance. It all boils down to practice. So you can start with the minimalism if you prefer, or maximalism, whatever. That's another thing to keep in mind. The next thing to keep in mind is having contrast, complementary colors, contrast or accent, whatever you call it. Now contrast could be the opposite colors, and people play with the colors, and I play with the colors a lot. I like contrast. For example, if everything in the room is beige or cream, they go perfectly hand together. I would introduce a plant, a green plant, that could work as that could work as an accent or as complementary color. So that would be the case. Or I introduce another piece of art that could be having a complementary color. So same with the clothing, with the jewelry. If you're wearing all gold, then you can introduce a little bit rose gold, a little bit bronze, or you can introduce some crystals, some pearls that could be more complementary, so that when it's all one colors it could be super boring. So you need to start adding some contrast. Another thing is adding textures. I love textures, and textures is my favorite. Now there are so many different types of textures. Now based on your intention, based on what your style, what you're creating, it could be different, it could be natural, whatever you want to go with. That the textures are important, and they create kind of like the accent. If you are not going with the colors, you can play with the textures. You can have a texture on the walls, or you could have a texture on the rugs. That works too, that works perfectly well. And so that's another the textures. The last thing I want to talk about is looking at the balance. Now sometimes symmetrical work, but asymmetrical also work if you want to create something unique. So for example, on the one side of the corner, if you have one potted plant, the other side, of course, you can put the other corner, you can also put the plant, the same one, that would be symmetrical. But then if you want to create an asymmetrical, you could have two small ponds, two small plants, and that work as well. So you can play with the symmetrical, asymmetrical, whatever, that works too. But having a visual balance, that's important. It's like you're not creating a chaos, you're not having a proper minimalism, that there is no contrast or no colors and super boring, but then also it's not the chaos, like finding that sweet spot. And it's all come with the practice, finding where is the sweet spot, and that's what I practically do. So you can also introduce the balance with the textures. Like somewhere you have bamboo textures, the other way you could have jute, if that works perfectly. Or you could have a texture in your chandelier, like the natural, or in the linen or the bed sheets. And if you guys don't know where to buy the different colors pillows and home decor item like pillows, curtains, wall art, rugs, carpets, I do have my design shop. You can very well check it out. I'm gonna put the link in the description. If you're interested, you can check it out. You can have really customized home decor items from that. You can choose to purchase from them. I'm gonna put the link of my Zazzle shop in description. It's a perfect print on demand designer place where you can get the designer products at the good price, and you can customize them. You can add your name, your text, and your details, and you can buy really good quality textured normal price products. So I'm gonna put my shop in description. If you're interested, you can check it out. But these are the some ways I would design the space, design for the fashion or the jewelry. Keep in mind the designing principles and designing rules remains the same, whether you're designing for a clothing or jewelry or a space or a kitchen or furniture or print on demand, whatever you design, whatever. It all works the same, nothing much is to be changed. So hopefully you find it useful. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.